Okay, hopefully that worked. Let's see. Alright, and that works too. Alright, that was a nightmare. Alright, the stream is officially live with the new name Aiden's Archive. So, welcome to the chat if you're here. It's good to see you guys. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties. I switched the name over and did not realize that my streaming software was going to have a panic attack about it. And I've been setting up the new studio all day. So I got on thinking I was just going to click go live and be pretty much good to go, and then it would not connect to the chat. So I had to basically disconnect and relog in, and then it was asking me to count literal dice to come up with the number 14 4 times. It was just a pain. But regardless, we're here. I made it work. A little late, but 9 minutes late, better than no stream for sure. So we're here. We're good. Catboy, it's good to see you. Hopefully you noticed that you are still the stream boss, and you currently have a streak of one full stream as the stream boss. So we'll see how long we can keep that going tonight. Goal is to hopefully make it to good old 30 followers today, as we go ahead and list out some more magic items for Saturday's stream, where we'll go ahead and flesh it out. But now that I've actually got the stream working, I guess I should let everyone know that we are up and running. All right. Let's see. Sick. Oh, man. How are you doing today, Catboy? Did you have a good Wednesday? Go ahead and set some of these other topics while I wait for nice. That's always nice when you get an off day. Let's see. Have any plans, or are you just gonna hang out? Personalities. Hello, personalities. Welcome to the chat. Love the name. Gonna play Borderlands 3 a lot. Sounds like fun. I actually just downloaded a new game today. I spent like an hour playing it, like my little break between cleaning and setting up the studio. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called Sifu. It's like this martial arts game. It's pretty interesting. The mechanics are pretty cool. So that was fun. But yeah. Isn't there like a DLC or an expansion coming out for Borderlands? The like Tasha something? I haven't played much of Borderlands, but I did always find some of the stuff they did interesting. No idea. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. As long as you have fun, that's all that matters. Sick. I was able to fix another problem of the stream, so that's good. On my YouTube videos, the chat wasn't being captured, so I figured out how to actually get your guys' messages to appear on my screen. So now they will actually be present in the YouTube videos, which is cool. It's every stream, the setup gets a little bit better. You know, typically by DLC. That's fair. That's fair. Me either, but I don't really buy much of games anymore in general because I spent like years where I was buying like every popular major game that came out because when I was in high school I used to play a lot, and then I got so busy with work that I didn't actually like play most of those games, so I was just throwing money away. But I'm trying to get back into it a little bit, but I'm being a lot more selective about what I buy and trying to at least finish a game before I buy another one. What's up before D&D? Welcome to the chat. I noticed that when you came back, I've been thinking that it would be better if the chat messages showed up in the video. Yeah, I wasn't sure what the best way to do it would be. Some people recommended that I could actually screen capture the stream to catch the actual chat box, but I wanted to do some more research and see if there was an easier way, and sure enough, there's actually a tool through my through Streamlabs that lets me just do this. So now it just appears, lasts there for about 15 seconds, and then disappears. But yeah, it's kind of a big problem with the first four because if you go back and watch the YouTube video, it just looks like I'm talking to myself, which I guess kind of in a way I am, but not really. You know, you guys are there. Just there's no vocal communication. Yeah, I like the layout. It gives a lot of options, and I figured that this was the cleanest. It's hard to tell from my end because everything's a lot smaller for me, but on the screen when it shows up, are you able to read your name fairly clearly? Because the text looks fine, but for me it's a little small. Okay. And I think it probably also depends on the color. Like before D&D, for some reason, his shows up a little bit clearer because it's like a different color for whatever reason. Yeah, okay. I mean, as long as y'all can see it, it'll show up the same way in the YouTube video, so that's all that matters. So that's good. But yeah, you guys know the drill. So tonight we're going to be doing another general stream. Trying to build a few more ideas that the color of mine doesn't show as well. Yeah, it's like a darker red, and then his shows up as a blue. Maybe just because of the order. Obviously, if I change the background of the image that's right here, it would probably show better as well. So that might be something I play with. But, you know, it's definitely a step in the right direction. But we're going to be, trying to get some more magic item ideas in order to be set up for success on Saturday when we do the magic item deep dive. That should be kind of fun, building magic items with you guys. And then I will also be taking podcast topic and topics and questions as kind of like another special category because we just launched the podcast yesterday. And we want to do a handful of podcast episodes with just me and Jose, my co-host, before we start bringing on interviewees. Once we do start interviewing people, I think it'll kind of take off, but we want to make sure that we have, a handful of episodes that just have us, so we can kind of like build that chemistry and dynamic before we start interviewing people. But as we go through the night, if anyone has questions or topics they'd like to hear us talk about from kind of like a DM and player's perspective, this is literally, you know, I'm the DM. He's the most avid player in my group. Then we'll throw those out there as well. I think a bright background for just the text box would be the right fix. I can see if it'll let me do that. I don't think it'll let me change the background color, but it might. I'll check it out tomorrow and see. Either way. But yeah, and then as far as our follower goal, we did receive another follower between Monday and Wednesday, or today I should say. So let me go ahead and do my regular follower shout out. So that way I can make sure he gets some recognition and love. Make sure I read his name correctly. It's actually the streamer that we checked out on Monday. He actually ended up following us back. The guy who was writing like colossal creatures ended up joining after the stream had finished. The dude was going for like 9 hours on Monday or something like that. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, Dungeon Master Symposium. So thank you, Dungeon Master Symposium, for the follow. Definitely want to make sure give you a shout. So appreciate you following, and hopefully we'll see you in the Twitch chat at some point. Let's see. Or a black since the text is white. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'll play with it and see if I can get the get those colors shifted around. Personalities. Thanks for the follow. Our personalities. That's you know, you just play with a couple letters and somehow these major platforms aren't able to recognize a pun or a slur or, you know, anything. Laughed my ass off. I thought the name was a joke. Halfway there now. Yeah. Hey. Hell yeah. Halfway there. Halfway to affiliate officially on Stream 5. So there we go. Catboy, you got 400 HP left. So if anyone over the next 2 follows or next donations of $2, I believe. I think it's 200 HP for every dollar. We will have a new stream boss. So we will see. Once again, Catboy, if you are so inclined, every donation of $1 should also heal you. If you want to try to fight for your title, if it gets a little close. I doubt anyone's gonna jump in and drop $2 and knock you off, but you never know. I mean, to be fair, you did drop $2 and knock me off, so I guess it could happen. Hell yeah, halfway there. Yeah, so I went ahead and made the decision to just go ahead and make the transition over to Aiden's Archive. I think it's a much better fit of a name, and now we can start setting everything up with the appropriate name instead of waiting till March. I guess I just kind of expected this stuff to pick up like a lot slower than it is, you know? I didn't think I'd already be at 25 followers. So figured we may as well start getting stuff going, and then I can now start working on finding someone to get the logo set up and the banner set up. I have a temporary logo that I'm using from a friend of mine to put something together for me for my birthday, so that'll hold us over for now. But yeah, it's kind of exciting. The set's coming along really well too. I'm just gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do to power the stream once it's finished. I want to buy a computer, or rather a laptop specifically, but those are expensive, and I do not start my new job until March, so kind of have to wait on that one. Okay. Well, you guys know the drill. I am here, but I'm going to be taking some notes while we kind of have a lull, see who hops in, who hops out. Hopefully get some good conversation going. But if you guys have any topics you'd like to discuss or any any questions, feel free to drop them in there. So I dropped a link in the Discord to some monsters I made if anyone wants to check them out. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a look at those right now. I especially like the first one. Hinderan, large construct, unaligned. Let's see. 20 feet, so it's fairly slow. Got a decent HP, challenge rating 4. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage resistant from non-magical, non-adamantine weapons. Standard. Immunities, sure-footed. The Hinderan has advantage on strength and dexterity saving throws against effects that would knock it prone. Okay, that's solid. Any creature that moves within 10 feet of a Hinderan or start its turn there must make a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw on a failure. It cannot move more than 10 feet from the Hinderan. If the Hinderan moves so that creature is more than 10 feet away, it must move so that it is once more within the distance on its turn. A creature can repeat the saving throw with disadvantage at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect of itself on a success. If a creature's saving throw is successful, it does not need to make further saves as long as it remains within the radius. Okay. When an attack is made against a creature affected by the hindering aura, it's made with advantage. The hindering slam attack is adamantine. Okay. It's 5 to hit. Oof. This thing packs a punch. 22 base damage? Hell yeah. Completely. So I assume this is supposed to be some type of like temple or, like some type of guardian creature. Something that stops creatures from proceeding further into dungeon or temple, hence the aura. Yep, there it goes. It's meant to guard a passageway. Makes sense. That is a pretty strong aura, bro. I mean, the DC isn't that hard, I guess, but the disadvantage after an initial failure is... Oof, that's super strong. Now, the only thing I would tell you, because I think it's balanced, personally, being CR4, DC only being a 12, and obviously the fact that once you save, you're unaffected. I would probably change the wording slightly to make sure that it says that it doesn't need to make the save for a day or 24 hours or until the next dawn or whatever. Whatever makes the most sense to you, because otherwise, like, it's literally like a lifetime save or suck. You know what I mean? Like, once I save from it, in theory, I could leave and come back the next day, and the aura still isn't gonna stop me. The way that it's worded. So, but otherwise, it's solid. I had an Archer Wizard bad guy and made that as part of his defense. Yeah, it definitely plays into that theme. And I think this is just a good all around um like it's a great monster, right? For a dungeon, or like, even shit, you could put this in a palace. Anywhere that you want to slow your players down and make it harder for them to advance quickly, right? This is great. You put two of these together, oh man, that's gonna be saucy. Then you got the giant swarm of rats. Swarms are always interesting. Mandragora boosted. The Mandragora makes 2 tentacle attacks. If it has a creature grappled, it can make a strangulation attack in place of one. 12 damage, DC 30 dex save against being grappled. Grapple is... Okay. I like that. And then... So what do you miss? What do you imagine it looks like? Hey, Angry Meatball, how's it going? You haven't missed a ton. Catboy linked some interesting monster concepts in the Discord if you want to take a look at those. And he is still holding the title of Stream Boss, but we did get our first follower for the night in the form of Personality. So we are officially at the halfway point to affiliate, officially at 25 followers. So that's exciting. We'll see how long Catboy holds the title of Stream Boss. But yeah, we're just kind of going over his monster list. Yeah, I like the Hindran. The Mandragora is basically just a stronger version of an already existing monster. Yeah, I assume so with the boosted little thing there. I've never actually seen the stat block for the original creature though, but I like it as well. I could see a lot of different use cases for this actually. What I don't know. How do you imagine that Hindran looks though? I just imagine, like, what is it? I'm trying to think of what the creature looks like, but essentially thinking of like just a tall construct with like almost pillars for arms and legs, but they're made of adamantine. Is the whole body made of adamantine or just specifically the arms? Angry Meatball says he's doing well enough. That's good to hear. You're currently moderating for a friend's chat. He's just gotten into a closed beta and he got a bit more traffic than usual. Okay, fair enough. absolutely. If you need to jump in and out, obviously, by all means. You know the drill. We're gonna be here till midnight my time, so we are very early into it. So hopefully we can get some more people in here, so we can get things rolling. I think we'll have a few of the regulars back in. But I'm hoping we can get a couple more new people. You know, it's always nice to get some fresh faces in here, so we can mix it up a bit, make our way to 50. But yeah, thanks, Angry Meatball. This is officially your 5th stream, so that's awesome. You've been here the whole journey, so I appreciate you constantly showing up. Yeah, you both have actually been here since basically the beginning. Yeah, the new name has taken hold. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I was setting stuff up on Tuesday, and I just figured, you know, why not just go ahead and do it? Everyone seems to like it, and I love it. And then I figured, like, you know, what's the point of waiting either till this weekend or till March if I'm pretty set on it? It's definitely better than Waifu Central, and I don't think anyone's going to vote against Aiden's Archive at this point. And now I can start working on finding some good art for it, get the logos all taken care of, and yeah. Cowboy says the arms would need to be quite large. Other than that, a large humanoid-shaped construct. Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of imagining like just massive arms with that damage amount, you know? Like it just hits like a damn truck. But it's a good concept. I'm definitely going to use that one in the campaign, by the way. That one is going straight into the campaign. I already know where I'm going to put it. As a matter of fact, at least one spot where I'm going to put it. So, congratulations, Catboy. You have officially published content in what may be the world's greatest D&D campaign. Keyword may, because it also might not end up being the world's greatest D&D campaign. Awesome. That's why I like sharing my stuff. Well, I like you sharing your stuff. You have good ideas, so I appreciate it. Yeah. Actually, make a note of it, because I know literally where I'm going to put at least 2 of those. And then that actually makes me think of another topic. What was I thinking of? Holidays. This is another topic that I'll eventually need to get to if anyone can think of interesting or unique holiday concepts. The Reina calendar is a little unique. It's very similar to the traditional, you know, our calendar, but every month is actually 35 days long. So, I lost the cap. Oh well, I don't really need it. This thing's gonna be done before the stream is. It's fresh. How many months? 12. 12 months, 35 days apiece. So, I haven't decided if I'm going to go as far as changing the names of the months just for the sake of keeping it simple for the players. Um, if I do, kind of like I talked about, eventually, like, take the campaign and turn it into a book, which would be like the long-term goal, then I probably will change um, the actual month names, because they'll have, obviously, more room to flesh out. Won't really matter as much, but um, for now, just regular month names, still all 12, but they're 35 days long. And typically, the way someone would address a day is you wouldn't say like January 1st, you would say the first day of January. So it's a little bit of lore there, or history, I should say. I'll be there for you. And there'll be some like easy ones. Like obviously I can kind of transpose. Yes, same week length. Great question. That's a great question. There's just the fifth week is effectively what it comes out to. So there's still 7-day weeks, 5 weeks apiece. So 35 days total. There's a Easter egg in it if you add it up. Hogswatch? What is Hogswatch? Basically Christmas. This is a D&D stream. You should always expect Discworld. Hogswatch is a little like Christmas and New Year's all wrapped together. Okay, interesting. I put it on the list. I don't normally put already proposed lore on the or like already canon lore on the Twitch stream, but I'll go ahead and give you guys this one. The New Year's Day. So Hogswatch actually may end up being a good one because it's like right between Christmas and New Year's, and New Year's works a little differently in Reina. New Year's Day, or the first day of January, is actually referred to as Mourning Day, and one of the unique habits of Mourning Day is that it rains all day every year on this particular day of the year. So, well, I guess one of the ways that you could tell, no matter what your circumstance is, the new year started. So most people use it as a time of reflecting on lost loved ones, or anything that warrants reflection or mourning. Well, most D&D fans I know IRL aren't familiar with Discworld, myself obviously included. I actually am not familiar with Discworld at all. I guess I could look it up. Discworld is a comic fantasy book series written by English author Terry Pratchett, set on the Discworld, a flat planet balanced on the backs of 4 elephants, which in turn stand on the back of a giant turtle. That sounds like some of the kind of shit I would have actually been into as a kid. Just like fucking, just ridiculous. A ridiculous premise. The Hogfather visits and gives presents, occasionally stealing children who have been naughty that year. Oh, okay. That could also go into the folklore aspect, because maybe there is make a note of that. There's a 2-part BBC miniseries called The Color of Magic from 20 or so years ago. You should totes check out the series. You should be able to find it on YouTube. It's a good watch. Okay. Let me see. I will check it out. The Color of Magic being one of the early Discworld books. Actually, several of them have been adapted. Oh, did I misspell it? No, okay. Alright. Get these YouTube videos ready so I can check them out tomorrow. Sick. Alright. Got it. Interesting. Alright, well, it looks like we got some of the usual lurkers in here. Not to call anybody out for lurking. We appreciate lurkers. So, just wanted to say hello, lurkers. If you want to say hello today, you can. Angry Meatball promises not to get too angry. Catboy won't bite. Maybe. We'll see. I think we have a pretty decent list of magic items from the first video that we can use for Saturday. Not hard anyway. Fair enough. But we'll see what else we come up with. I really cannot wait to get all of this stuff set up where like it's all just perfect. Maybe I'll try to get some pictures of get the set cleaned up, take some like early access pictures for you guys to show you on Saturday. It should be up and running by the time we record the second episode of the podcast next week. The biggest issue is needing to actually have a computer and a second screen to facilitate managing the stream from in there. So that will take a little bit more time. But yeah, one of the things I want to do, I had this pretty interesting idea. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with disc plates, but hopefully the ones that I ordered come in, and then I can take a picture of that as well and share the concept with you guys. But I'm thinking about doing like a theme wall, which like basically disc plates are like these magnetic posters, if you're not familiar with them. So they come with like a magnet. You set the magnet on the wall, and it's supposed to be relatively easy to like swap them out, and not damage the wall. And the posters are supposed to look pretty clean. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is, instead of me just buying like a bunch of posters that I like, and I'll obviously be buying more over the course of however long it takes to fill out the wall. But like when we have guests for the podcast, they could pick out a poster, or if like viewers want to pick out a poster, they could pick out and order a poster, and then it goes on this kind of like themed wall that will like build out into whatever. So the first two I got was, one is of Spider-Man because he's my favorite superhero, and then one is from an anime called Bleach, just because I loved Bleach growing up. But the poster itself was one of the better looking ones I could find on the site, and I didn't want to sink too much money into it until I at least had a couple and saw what they looked like. But I think that would be a cool idea, just to like let people put their own stamp on it, like even if there's a show or a theme or something like that maybe I haven't watched or I'm not like necessarily a huge fan of, they get a disc plate of it, it aligns on the wall, and it should all look like kind of seamless, which is kind of the look I'm going for. And then rather than the significance being the show or the image on the poster, is whoever put their stamp on the wall, so to speak. I think it would be cool. I don't know. We'll see. See how long it takes to fill that wall out. Probably quite some time. Yeah, I thought so. Thanks, Catboy. I'd just be interested to see what the final design looks like, like, because it'll be like a I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like a big just tapestry of different characters and universes. And I could obviously just pick out all my favorite stuff, but I think it'd be more interesting with other people's input. So, actually, let me see if they have updated the tracking on my order. Maybe I can find out when I'm getting those disc plates. Because they should be coming in soon at this point. Before the sun comes down. Let's see. There we go. Check out my orders. That does not tell me. Okay, well that doesn't give me any information, so that's not cool. Yeah, there's a lot of cool designs on here, though. They even do like some limited edition stuff. So it's kind of interesting. All right. Let's see. What's everyone's favorite holiday of the year? Just out of curiosity. Put some banter in the chat while I take some notes. Christmas. That's fair. Christmas is a hard one to top because it's basically Thanksgiving. Well, at least in my family, it's basically Thanksgiving plus gifts. So, that is a hard one to beat. A lot of people say Halloween. I don't know. I guess people like the dressing up, but for me, Halloween's about the candy. It's an excuse to eat Reese's. Say excuse to eat too many Reese's, I should say. Not to continue with the pig theme. Hog Monet. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I was going to assume that was another part of Discworld, but I guess that's just a coincidence. Hog Monet. That's what you guys call New Year's? Is it like a direct translation, or is it just like that's a word that you guys picked for it? That's what anime cons are for? Okay. That's very fair. To be honest, like, it makes more sense to me. You go to a friend's house to get drunk and party. That just sounds like a weekend to me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't actually know where the word comes from. Fair enough. Let's look it up. I'm curious now. The more we know. Wow. That is interesting. I'm going to be Edward Elric at a con in Atlanta this year. That's awesome. Edward Elric, the Full Metal Alchemist. That is a great anime. Top tier for sure. I actually used to live in Atlanta as well when I was younger. Before I moved here to Texas, to Tejas. Good old Six Flags, and those were back in the days when you could go into a Toys R Us and Well, actually, you can't go into Toys R Us at all anymore, but so I guess, that's the whole point. But back then, when I was a kid, we didn't have many video games, so I would go into Toys R Us and play on the arcade machines that they had there. Play Pokemon Coliseum with my brother. Those were good times. But by tradition, you bring a bottle of whiskey and a lump of coal to the house of a friend or family, one to warm your belly and one to warm your house, though coal isn't easy to come by most years. Okay. That's a very interesting tradition. I mean, I get the unique symbolism. Do most people have like coal fireplaces though? Or have a way to use the coal? Or is it just more for the symbolism nowadays? Funnily enough, I used to live in Texas. That's cool. Which part of Texas? I'm over here in Houston. So Irving. Okay, cool. I know where that's at. How'd you like it here? Or rather, in Irving. In Glasgow, when I was a kid, there were still a lot of places that coal or wood burning stoves. It makes sense. And it's just not, I mean, I guess it is a thing that as as technology kind of becomes more pervasive, is going to be less common. But I like that. I like that idea though, is that you're sharing something for the party, but you're also sharing something practical, and then it's not a rich city. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I liked it. Well, there's a lot better than South Georgia where I am now, and I could walk most places I wanted to go. Is the weather nice in Irving? I mean, I've never been. I just know generally where it's at. Over here in Houston, it's fucking... I mean, it's hit or miss, man. The humidity is terrible, and then the weather is, like, just hormonal. You can go from being 70, 80 degrees to 35 this time of year, like nothing. You go from the sun being out to just rain torrentially pouring down on you for nothing, Weather here doesn't make up its mind. So, it's an interesting place to live. I'm not a big fan of the weather here, but the food, though, can't be beat. The only place that I've gone, the only two places that I've gone that, like, even compare food-wise so far have been New York and Austin. But to be fair, Austin is in a lot of ways similar to Houston, and then New York is New York, so... That's really all you gotta say about New York. The pizza in New York is insane, though. If you ever go to New York, go to a place called Prince Street Pizza and thank me later. It is a disgusting city, though. Well, Irving is significantly farther north. That is very true. It may just be further... I can't talk. May just be far enough north to avoid the terrors of Houston weather. What made you move then? I moved to Laos when I was a kid because my mom, just long story short, had different jobs and things like that, or she got offered opportunities and we just ended up here. But originally I'm from way up north, good old South Dakota. Actually, all right. Let's see. We're almost in our second hour, which is usually where things kind of pick up. People kind of start trickling their way in, so we'll see. I lived there with my mother, and after she got arrested and we lost our house, we moved in with my grandma, her mom, in Middle Georgia. Then I moved in with my other grandma in order to go to college. Well, I hope it is all working out. You know, I'm sorry to hear that your mom got arrested. I won't pry for details, but what are you in? Are you still in school, or what are you going to school for? I'm actually about to be finishing school myself here in the next few months, so. I graduated 5 years ago. Oh, that's right. You're a little bit older than I am. I forgot we talked about that last stream. Well, congratulations. What did you graduate for? Is what I meant to ask. Like, what was your degree in? CIS. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, mine is just a general business admin degree. Nothing too crazy, but I get the job done. Got me where I needed to be, so it all works out. I'm debating whether or not I should actually go ahead and stick it out and get my master's, but we will see. I'm waiting for my counselor to get back with me and find out if it makes sense or not. So, who knows? But I'm kind of ready to be done with school. It's been a long journey. Schooling in America is very expensive. You are absolutely right. And I was pretty done with school after getting my bachelor's. Yeah, I can't blame you. I I am really just, I won't say fed up, because thankfully it's everything's been going smoothly for me in school, so I don't have a lot to be fed up with. I'm just tired of doing it, you know. Uh, I'm just tired of doing it. But apparently, with an MBA, I could do it in only another 2 years, which, you know, I'd be 30 at that point. So I figure if I can have my master's by 30, that would be cool. But then I don't know if it's even practical. Like, Especially if all the other things that I want to do take off, like it might just end up being a check mark on my resume at that point, like not something that I'll actually ever practically need. So I don't know. I don't know how I've done it either. It's like I said, it's been a long journey. I graduated high school. It'll be 10 years ago in June, and I'm just finally about to get my bachelor's because it is very expensive, especially if you're living on your own and trying to take care of yourself. I was lucky in that my dad and myself were poor enough. I got full federal aid and I went to a pretty inexpensive uni. Well, I'm glad it worked out, you know, right? Like, obviously, there are pros and cons to everything in life, especially when it comes to wealth. Because my situation is the actually kind of the exact opposite in that, and I'm not going to complain about it. My mom did very well for herself as I got older and had plenty of money by the time I was ready to start attending school, so I couldn't actually qualify for a lot of that stuff. I didn't live on campus, so I only paid tuition and fees. That's good. That's the way to do it. Yeah, that's what I would want for my kids if they decide to go to college. I would want to make sure that they're not paying for anything they don't need to until they're done, as long as they're not screwing around. That's if I have kids. I don't have kids yet, to be clear. My only expenses were my gas until last semester. That's a dream. That is a dream. I wish I could only have to pay for gas. Owning a house is expensive. Yeah, that's probably what took me so long in school is that I decided I was going to put all my energy into trying to buy a house young so that way I could not have to really worry about my living situation. Luckily, it worked out. So, and it's cool because now I can do whatever I want with this place. Like set up a literal man cave slash Dungeons and Dragons. I can't talk. Dungeons and Dragons studio for my podcast and Twitch stream. So I'm not sure if I really want to own a house. That's fair. It depends on a few things, man. I plan to. My long term, super long term goal is to be able to retire by the time I'm 40. Like, not necessarily that I will, because I probably would get bored if I didn't have like some kind of stable full time job. But I don't want my money to be dependent on having a job by that time. So investing is a big way to do that. So we'll see. Plus, I want to travel a lot. So retiring is not so easy. You're right, for a lot of reasons. Money is hard to come by. Uh, you know, like I said before, there's the whole thing of getting bored, not having anything to do. And it's just generally not easy at all. Which is why I have been kind of busting my ass to find ways to get there. There we go. I make pretty good money and I'm in a union and I might not be retiring all that soon because of the cost. 60s maybe. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I don't have any real intention of stopping work when I'm 40 anyways. But I would love to be in a place where I wouldn't need to work. It's a lofty goal for sure, but that's how I've always been. Is I make like very, very high goals to see how close I can get. Because even if I don't hit that like kind of ludicrous goal, it means I've probably set myself up for something still pretty substantial. Yeah, it's worked out so far, you know? So. Well, go ahead and switch gears a little bit, just because we are an hour into the stream. Seems like most of the regular folks are busy tonight, which is no big deal. There are gonna be streams like that. But while we are just kind of chilling and vibing and just enjoying some banter, uh, since I have you two here, you guys have obviously been very regular and very communicative throughout the chat. I don't know if you got the opportunity to watch the podcast that we uploaded yesterday, and it's totally fine if you didn't. But the long-term goal is to make something kind of like an interview format where we'd have guests on and actually be able to talk to them about their like D&D stories and things like that. What are some questions or topics related to D&D that you would find interesting? Not necessarily that you would personally listen to, right? Like maybe it's not your thing. I don't expect it to be for everyone. It's probably going to be a pretty niche thing when it's all said and done, but what would be some topics or questions or anything like that that you would think that would at least be engaging or interesting in a podcast? If you have any ideas. Crazy PC stories. Okay. There's that's a good one. Yeah, because I'm sure we all have plenty of those, you know? I know I do. We talked about a couple of them in our first episode, actually, but like that's kind of my thought of like where this will really take off is, me and my co-host, we have plenty of stories that we could tell, but like once we get people sharing their stories, that's where it's gonna be insane. Like, like having people on talking about how they first got into D&D, how long they've been playing, what their craziest PC story is. That's what I'm looking forward to at the podcast for sure. So I am excited for it. It's nice seeing everything kind of slowly but surely come together. Every episode, the stream works a little bit better. Set's getting a little bit nicer. Getting more ideas for the podcast. So the most engaging things will usually be things people complain about. Ask how a guest keeps players engaged or invested in the world, how they fix problems with the system, what are the most important things to talk to players about when starting a game, or what rules they lay out when they play. Okay. I like that. Thank you for the feedback, guys. Do you guys have a craziest player character story? And the more you can get a guest to talk instead of you, the better. Yep, for sure. Ask about a story they've always wanted to tell but never got the chance to, or one they thought went poorly but wish they could do differently. Okay, I like that too. Yeah, we definitely. That's definitely something that I've thought of as well. Is that right? Like the whole thing is me and Jose, my co-host, are gonna obviously like we're the main two people on the podcast, so there's gonna be a lot of us talking. So when we do finally get a guest in front of us, it's really gonna be about keeping them engaged and then limiting how much we're speaking. You know, because our stories will get told over every episode of the podcast, so to speak, right? Like people will get to learn more about us and the stories we've told and been a part of. But unless we have a guest who is very regular or repetitive, it's kind of their time to shine, you know? Yeah. Hmm. Catboy says, I once played a dumb fighter who, after killing a mimic, decided to start eating it. Okay. My character contracted a magical disease which gave him a huge mouth. He then had no inside voice. He also got another party member, a dwarf, to eat some, and he grew a third eye, lost all his hair, lost his eyes, and finally developed smelly pustules all over his body. Ooh. What was what was your intelligence score, if you don't mind me asking? That's like that's pretty wild. And Green Meatball says, I don't have crazy PC stories, I have crazy player stories. People showing up on drugs, having horrible personal grooming habits, and at the table really needing to talk far too much about rape. Yeah, I've heard some of those horror stories. I have a couple of horror stories of my own from uh, past campaigns in regards to the players. And those are always those are obviously much worse when the story is in real life and not within the game. Catboy says he kept failing the con saves. I mean, that's how it goes, man. You know, I wonder what the DC on not catching a mimic disease when you ate the mimic is, you know? One fellow once neglected to tell us he had gone off his epilepsy meds and had a seizure for 2 hours into the session. I had a seizure 2 hours into the session, not for 2 hours. That would have been very different. 8, I think. Oh, God. Hey, you know? But did he live, though? I guess to both of those people. I'm sure the guy with epilepsy hopefully lived. He lived. And what about the dumb fighter? Did the dumb fighter live after getting mimic mouth? Is that what the name of the disease was called, by the way? That would be a great name for a mimic-related disease. That's actually a good topic idea as well. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. Lol. What am I doing? I'm glad he lived. I mean, that was very irresponsible of him for sure. Yes, the dwarf later became the servant of a god as part of getting cured. My character was actually retired after we got back to town. Yeah, I believe it. Alright guys, looks like we got a few more people in here. Some people are starting to trickle in, so if you are here, whether you're lurking, feel like chatting and saying hello, either way, thanks for being a part of tonight's stream. We are currently going over topics for our podcast, as well as crazy player stories, and then in general world building around things like holidays, magic items, and the such. So some of the topics are here. If you feel like jumping in, by all means, don't hesitate. You know, me, Angry Meatball, and Catboy can have great conversations all night on our own, and we will. But if you feel like joining in, by all means do so. Catboy is still our stream boss. He's down to 400 HP at this point. So, if you are not already following, you should go ahead and hit that follow button. See if you can take the stream boss spot. Any follow does 200 damage, and any donation of $1 or every dollar also does 200 damage. So let's see if Catboy's going to hold this title for his second stream in a row. But yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Not because of the loudmouth, I was just tired of playing One Trick Pony. Fair enough. In my last campaign, I actually had a player who, over the course of the first 6 weeks, had to change his character 3 times. Started out, well, 2 times. Started off with one, went to another, and then went to another. And that's, when we talk about session zeros in the podcast, that'll be a big thing that I talk about is having the right players, and then also making sure they have the right character, someone that they're going to be happy playing is a huge thing. You know, it's hard to tell for sure, because you think you have a concept that you're going to be happy with, and then you start playing it and it becomes a one-trick pony, or you know, the player goes around peeing and, ruining religious iconography in front of the rest of the party. It doesn't go well. So, or he tries to fight party members because, he's crazy. He was a grapple monster. That's cool. if by grapple monster you mean like he would grapple all of his enemies into submission, that's cool. But yeah, that can get a little repetitive. Hugging every monster to death became boring after a bit. Yeah, I can imagine. Especially because, like, at a certain point, the scaling is not going to be in your favor at all. Angry Meatball says, as far as in-game stories, the craziest it gets is probably just one problem player I call Sprite. She never paid attention when it was her turn, always on her phone, usually playing another game, but because she wasn't paying attention, she would say these mad things, and I would make real once she said them. I approve. Like, what would an example be of like some of the wild things she would say? Yeah, I had to kind of get after my table on the whole paying attention, especially during combat thing. Especially when I initially had a group of 8 players, and nah, you can't have that. Can't have that at the table. Attention is required. That's one of the things that's going to be nice about having like a separate room for the game as well. There won't be as many distractions having the whole dungeon set up. I really just need to find a solid table and we will be good to go. 8, I had enough trouble with 6. Yeah, the thing of it is, I fell for a trap, which is being, being too nice / sympathetic to the fact that there aren't always enough DMs for the players to go around. You know what I mean? So since a lot of the majority of the people who played in our group initially started off as coworkers, there were a couple of people who I knew wanted to play that didn't have the opportunity, that took our group from 6 to 8. And I probably shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, I don't really regret it. It gave me some good experience. It helped me, know for sure that 8 is too much for me to handle. 6 is the sweet spot for my groups. I can handle 6 pretty well, but more than that is too much in my opinion. But it was fun. It was fun at times. And eventually those 2 ended up leaving, which worked it down to 6, and that worked even better. So it was worth it. Once during downtime, all the characters had stuff to do, and Sprite's character had to talk to her guild master for some reason. Before getting to the guild, Sprite says, after the whole thing we just did, I'm gonna get there, and this bitch is gonna be dead, and guts will be all over the room and shit, I swear. So I shrugged and said, yeah, Sprite, that's what happens. So she had to solve the guild master's murder. Okay. Oh, man. That is some powerful yes and letting your player will into existence the death of her guildmaster. I dig it. I dig it though. Oh, that's another good topic idea. Throw that in there. Guilds. I already have some solid guild ideas, but there's always room for more. It's a big world. The major difficulty I had was adjusting Lost Mines of Phandelver for 6 instead of 4 players. I mean, I ran Lost Mines. My group of 8, we actually started in Lost Mines. And it wasn't too bad. You just gotta beef it up. Beef it up. Just beef up those stats. And here's the great thing, And you don't tell your players this, sometimes you gotta unbeef those stats on the fly. You figure out that that Hitteran is hitting a little too hard, maybe you make it hit just a little bit softer. That's part of being the DM, is sometimes God's got to tweak the balance on the fly. But it is a lot. I mean, and it goes both ways. You could always just have backup show up and things like that if you think you've underbalanced it. But generally, I don't think it was too bad. I also one of the things that I did in my last campaign that I'm gonna do to a lesser degree this time around is that I gave every player special abilities. Some of them were very broken, very, very, very overpowered, but because they had these unique kind of gameplay changing abilities in some cases, I had a little bit more reign to beef up the baddies. Anger Meatball says, or the time they were in a mine and looking down a dark vertical shaft. Sprite says, wouldn't it be crazy if we dropped a torch down there and it disappeared into the dark, into like another dimension or something? So they did, and it happened. Then another character stuck their head, and now they have contact with an extraplanar entity. Okay. You sound like the kind of DM who would get very much along with one of my players, because he would love some of that crazy, just like out of pocket stuff, and he would say some out of pocket stuff that you probably would make true. Cowboy says, I've never adjusted stats like that, but I have tweaked encounters on the fly, mostly removing monsters since I tend to make them on the deadlier side. That's fair. The only stat that I would typically adjust would be like, is if I made something custom, right? Like if I made a custom NPC or monster and I felt like the damage value is too high or the HP value is too high, and I realized that like within the first round or two, I might adjust it on the fly. But otherwise, yeah, adjusting the number of enemies is usually going to be more effective in rebalancing an encounter anyways. I always have something ready. I know you do, Angry Meatball. I know that from first-hand experience at this point. If you're making up all this wild shit, I take it to mean you're bored, so I'll adjust to what is fun for the group. That's fair. That's a fair point. It's a good way of looking at it. It's a way of making it positive. I like it. Ooh. So whatever happened to Sprite? She kept missing sessions with no heads up. That's a no-go. Hell no. That's a deal breaker right there. No heads up. Can't do that. I replaced her pretty quickly. I don't blame you. I would do the same thing. That's just like hardcore disrespectful to a DM who's put in all that work. You know, obviously life happens and things come up or people change, but no notice, that's just not okay. She since asked to rejoin the group, but she has given me no reason to think her behavior has improved at all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would, yeah, no. No, she's not giving you any reason to think it's going to be different. It's just no sense. It's going to be all that work on a gamble. So, it wouldn't be worth it to me. Now, she adds a lot to the dynamic of your group, and you can have a candid conversation with her about it, then maybe. But, you know. Hey, it's True Blue. Welcome to the chat. Welcome back to the stream. Stream 2. Stream number 2. It's True Blue. I like it. I like that we are steadily growing our regulars on this Twitch channel. So I appreciate you coming back. That's what we need. Having the randoms jump in from time to time is nice, but I want to grow some regulars so that way we can have like a good group to have these discussions with. It's True Blue. Right now we're talking about crazy PC stories. If you have anything you want to throw into the mix, obviously just like Monday, we've got the topics up here. Kind of one of the special subjects, or the two special ones here highlighted at the top, are going to be, what did I just do? Are going to be magic items, because we have a good handful, but you know, if we can add any other magic item names to the list for Saturday, then it'll give us a pretty good selection of options for when we actually build those magic items together. And then podcast topics. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the podcast. No big deal if you did not. But we are trying to make the second podcast much better, and then start building an idea of what we want to talk to our interviewees about, because the podcast is eventually going to be an interview format where we have guests on if people actually want to talk to us. So yeah, those are the main two topics. And then, you know, as always, we just have good D&D conversations. But it's good to see you. I do enjoy the chaotic energy she brought. It kept me on my toes. That's fair. It's a fair you know, a fair point. For diseases mimic malady, symptoms include clammy skin, extreme hunger, and enlarged mouth. Malady is how that's pronounced, actually. I promise I'm not always an idiot. Just sometimes. Mimic malady. Since y'all are all DMs to different, you know, like different extensive experience, how far do you go into the voices for your role playing? Are you pretty good with your range? There are some voices that I'm pretty solid with. Others that I am not solid at all with. I can do a pretty solid country accent. I think my players can attest to that. Stories about players or stories from players? Both. All of the above. Anything. It could be stories about the players' characters. It could be stories about the players themselves. Whatever you got. You know, we're just shooting the shit, basically. I once had this crazy guy rage quit after he tried to throw the world into chaos and the DM stopped it. He tried what? It was in Eberron. He tried to kill all the rulers in one shot in the form of a meeting and drop a city on that meeting. This is before D&D's way of trying to bring up the fact that I was the player that he's talking about who rage quit. And I didn't really, you know, whatever. I rage quit. That's fine. We'll call it a rage quit. I'll tell this story here in a second if you guys care to hear what the actual story is. He's just being facetious to get me to talk about it on stream. But by the way, before D&D, I actually did find, I found on my computer today, I found the evil monologue that I wrote for that session. I was looking through some files trying to make something today, and I actually found the monologue. I have very poor vocal range. Hey, I'm literally monotone, so you know. You can make it work, okay? I try to do some accents. I go deep in the voices. It's really hard for me to stretch my vocals, and I'm not sure why. I practice accents very regularly. I get into it. Yeah, I do it moderately, right? Like there are some, you know, it really just depends on the significance of the NPC or like how wildly different the NPC is compared to the players. Um, I won't say that I have like an amazing vocal range for sure, but there are some that I can do fairly well. And then I try to practice them. Once I find a voice that like, thing is interesting, I'll try to practice it. I knew you looked familiar, laugh out loud. Shut up, man. You looked familiar. Never seen you before in my life. Well, in this one campaign, True Blue says, not D&D, our spaceship got ripped in half and we landed in a desert near a mountain that had a cave in it. My party members found out that the cave was trippy AF and deemed it the Weed Cave. Nice. Nice. Linguistics is a hobby of mine, and I've been studying various American accents in past years. Yeah, I kind of figured you were into linguistics based on some of our conversations in previous streams. Uh, Dry Gold, welcome to the chat. First time chatter. Hey, welcome to the stream. Dry Gold says, what game were you playing? It's True Blue. So I was like, hell yeah, and went in with them. For me, the cave got progressively smaller. For them, it didn't. So they're walking normally, and I'm literally army crawling and having visions of my mother. They eventually left, and I was having a mad trip. The DM said the mountain got struck by lightning, and I was like, wait, I'm still in there. What the fuck? Catboy says, this is just a character creation thing, but I once had a player in a superhero campaign whose character had the power to summon homeless people to do his bidding. What? That's so specific. Why are they homeless? So, okay, for clarification, Catboy, how in depth was the character creation behind the homeless people? Did he just generate randoms who looked like homeless people, or did these homeless people have stories? And the DM was like, oh shit. You gotta love when the DM forgets about you, you know? Hello, I'm here on Blue's recommendation. It's their fault I'm here. Hey, well, that's a good thing, you know? You made it to the right place. This is, quickly becoming the world's greatest conversation for all things D&D and role-playing, you know? Not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. So, if you like a good conversation in general, and conversation about role-playing games and D&D a little bit more specifically, then you are in the right place. So, welcome to the chat, Dry Gold. We're glad to have you here. Thank you, it's True Blue, for bringing some more conversation into the chat. So my character gained the ability to see, touch, and open all possible strands of reality. Holy shit. A system the GM made himself over quite a number of years. Yeah, I bet. I mean, you gotta do quite a bit of balancing to make opening ability to see, touch, and open all strands of reality a concept, you know? He's too shy to share it, though. Oh, your DM is too shy to share his concept. Well, that's sad. You should have him come talk to us sometime. Have him join the Discord, maybe. Maybe he'd be more keen to sharing it like that. I don't know. But if it's a good idea, it should be shared. Cowboy Tad said they were randoms. I drew up a stat block to use for all of them. Oh, okay. Fair enough. I mean, it would, it'd just be interesting though. Like, if they had names, my characters would probably name the homeless people. or my players. Basically, the cave was a bridge through the multiverse, and I was able to use parts of the cave to open portals to other universes. And he's still tweaking it a lot. You should put the villain monologue. I'm not going to put the villain monologue because there's no context. It won't make any sense. Let me see if I can post this entire illness right up in the chat. If it's easier, Angry Meatball, you can put it in the Discord, and then I can copy it over to the doc that way as well. If you have like a link or something where it's easier, instead of you having to post it all in the Twitch chat. Whatever works though. Yeah, put it in the Discord then. That'll be easier. Plus, then it'll stay there, and more people will be able to see it. You know. That's what we have a Discord for. You know. I got you, Angry Meatball. Were these random people that existed in the world already, or was this character generating new homeless people from thin air? Catboy says we did not go into much detail on the topic. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying, True Blue. You know, imagine being created and existing only for the purpose of being homeless. Like that's just, you know, like. So, let's put it to a vote. Which do you think is more fucked up, right? Actually being a homeless person, and like being a living homeless person who's already just existing in the world, and then being forcibly summoned to work for some magician in the world who, when he's done with you, if you somehow survive the terrors of the world, you have to go back to being homeless. Or being created from the ether specifically as a homeless person to then supposedly get sent back to the ether once you have completed your service to your lord. What is more horrible? It's going to be in 2 parts. I put it in the world building section. Okay. I will go ahead and take a look at that. Yeah. Here's what I'll do, is I will also put this on the Word doc, but I will just move diseases down to its own page. It doesn't really need these. Sick. And then there it is. So if anyone wants to look at it without having to switch back and forth right now, I will leave it up there for a bit. Let's see. Keep in mind they are perfectly obedient to the summoner. I don't think they're going back to the ether. Do they get paid? The most fucked up thing is that they're created from the ether as homeless people without agency and then abandoned to fend for yourself as soon as you stop being immediately useful to some shithead superhero. That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah, that would be the most fucked up combination for sure. Is if they don't like go back, you know, because yeah, I guess in my head they go back and then just they go into like a little pocket storage for the next time they need to be used. But if they just exist after the fact and have to live a life of just being homeless, yeah, that's gonna suck. No pay was not part of the deal. Yeah, I don't imagine that you would pay your summon. Especially if you summoned them homeless. Psh, homeless people don't get paid. Wow. I think I found our title for the YouTube version of this stream. It's definitely gonna involve the homeless. Homeless dude, I choose you. That might actually be it right there. That actually might be it right there. That's probably gonna be the one. Yeah, that's ass. Well, you're one to talk before D&D. You got all kinds of ass names. At least it's topical to the chat, you know? It gives people a little, not really insight, but gives them a little wonder as to why the fuck that would be the name. You know, that's always the idea when I make the YouTube videos, is for people to question it. Like, I put Chicken Butt's name in the last one because obviously his kind of like summoning homebrew that we were helping him work on last time was very very interesting and kind of integral to the primary portion of the chat. So that's usually what I try to do with the YouTube names. I'm glad I was able to fix this though, now that the chat shows up in the stream feed. Like where you guys can see it, it'll actually show up in the YouTube videos now. It's gonna be good stuff. Very good stuff. But yeah, I mean, we got quite a few more people in here now. It's starting to pick up, which is usually what happens when we get close to the 2-hour mark. So how's everyone doing today? I know, you know, obviously I've been talking to Catboy and Angry Meatball for a bit now, but how's everyone else doing? You guys have a good day today? Maybe I'll go ahead and tell the story of my rage quit tonight as well. Quote unquote rage quit. If that's something you guys want to hear. BRB, take your time. We will be here. I've been crook for the last 2 days, but I'm feeling better today, so that's good. I'm glad you're feeling better. And I hope you continue to feel better. It's the first time I've heard that phrasing, though. I assume that means that you're just feeling sick or like under the weather. But if you don't mind me asking where you're from, Dry Gold. If you don't feel like sharing that information, obviously don't feel obligated to. Australianism. Hey! That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think this probably like one of the coolest things one of the coolest things about like doing this is just how diverse you guys are. You know, like we got people from all over joining the stream, and you know, we're obviously like a very small stream at this point, you know. But I like that we're kind of getting a nice little melting pot of people. So diversity helps a lot of things, especially generating ideas. I tried to flex on my little cousin with the scooter trick and hit my shin with the force of God. Did you actually, or are you just being dumb? I could seriously imagining you doing that. Like just trying to show off and making a total ass of yourself. Nah, I actually did it. Good job, man. I hope you're okay for what it's worth. But you sounds like you did it to yourself. Was trying to teach her how to write it? How do you go from writing it to hitting yourself in the shin? What kind of trick were you trying to do? It's a rite of passage destroying your Achilles heel with a razor scooter. That's fair. That's very fair. I mean, we've all, I'm sure at some point or another, ate shit on a scooter or some similar device in our day, but you're you're a little too old to be messing up that hard in front of your little cousin. I was trying to jump and spin it and land on it again. I've never done it before. So you got a little cocky is what it sounds like. It sounds like you got a little cocky. What did your cousin say? Yeah, that's kind of what I was imagining. I would have probably laughed too. So was my family. Oh. Oh man. Only on a bike. My mother did once try to learn to rollerblade while walking a Great Dane though. What the hell? How did that go for her? That sounds like a terrible combination of things to do at the same time. Like, sounds like your mom would you know, like playing Dark Souls or something. Just enjoys doing things the hardest possible way. Yeah, did she fall or go on a ride? Those are the only two options. She either went really fast or she hit really hard. So, she got pulled to a curb and fell. I'm sorry. Not to laugh at your mother, but I don't think anyone could honestly say they expected anything else. So, it happens though. I laughed at her. Hey, that's family though. She wasn't hurt. That's all that matters. As long as she's okay. Like if it's not serious, then it's all in good fun. But it could have been serious, depending on the dog. That could have actually been pretty bad. But it's a good thing it was not. So, Dry Gold, what's your experience with D&D or other RPGs in general? How long have you been playing? It's a question I generally like to ask any of the people who are fairly active in the chat. Do you DM, play, both, none? One of my closest friends ran D&D for us like 2012, I think. I've run a few games. Okay. Very cool. Good to know. So, I play a lot of other games though. Okay, cool. Like what? What games do you like to play? Um, I've only played 5e myself. DM mostly, but yeah, that's the only RPG that I really have like any significant experience with. So I always like to hear what other people's experiences are and what other games are out there, especially powered by the Apocalypse or Forged in the Dark games. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. With I was gonna say with your D&D games that you've ran, have you ran like a campaign or primarily one-shots? Or Forged in the Dark is so damn good, man. I need to look into it. Let me put this on the... Huh. Interesting. Alright. I got it up here on my browser to look at here in a bit. Quick question. Anyone here have any experience with GURPS? I do, not much, but some. Nah, give me narrative-focused games rather than simulationist games like GURPS. I've run a few like campaigns that we've gotten to like level 5 in. Okay, fair enough. And no, Catboy, I do not have any specific experience with GURPS. I'm not really familiar with it. But I would love to hear about it. If you'd like to tell me about it. And I'll pull it up here on my list as well. This is GURPS. Genetic Universal Role-Playing System. Interesting. And this is part of the reason why we do this stream, is so we can learn about things that maybe we don't know a lot about. GURPS is very complex, very intricate, very detailed. From this first link on Google, it sounds like it. I've been playing in a 5e game that has been going for 3 years now. That's good, man. Congratulations. Those are hard to come by, multi-year games. GURPS is very crunchy and one of those, a jack of all trades is a master of none kind of systems. Okay. I get what you mean. It feels like it would be a more decent system for more realistic settings. I used it for superheroes, though. Alright. Yeah. I would love to start running games like more regularly in the next few years for like more groups. Even now, like I've already gotten a lot of requests in these last couple months to run games for different groups. So I'm thinking one of the things I'll need to do is maybe learn some of the other RPG systems. But there is like an endless void of them. At Joe, what system do you use? Like Gold says, it's good if you can't find a system that does exactly what you want to do, but it's hard to master. Okay, well I guess that makes sense in how Catboy would use it, right? You know, if it gives you all the tools to kind of make the world and system that you want. That's interesting. That is very interesting. But yeah, like it's crazy how many RPG systems are out there. Joe must be AFK. Certified Webback. Who is Joe? I'm an idiot. I knew it as soon as I said it. The Cypher system does a superhero setting. You might try that. Certified Wetback says Joe Mama got his ass caught in 4K. It's actually a 1080p camera, but nice try. I'm back. Welcome back. It's True Blue. Oh my god. It would not be a Twitch stream without a little bit of shit posting from Certified Wetback. But yeah, I guess I can do a story time if you guys would be interested to hear how I actually rage quit the last rage quit the game that actually started my last D&D campaign. Because if I had not rage quit the campaign I was in, I probably would not have ended up running one of my own when I did. So things would be very different now. You're falling for these way too often now. That's because I don't have the brain of a child. I've done mutants and masterminds before. Do you know how they compare? I need you to know I'm still laughing right now. Thank you. You're welcome. Anything for you. Angry Meatball says, I've never used M&M. The cipher system is a D6 system, but a simple one. Nowhere near as bad as Shadowrun. Whew. I've got a lot to learn. Let's see. Hey. So it looks like we have officially hit the halfway point of the stream. We're at hour 2. Making good progress, having good convo. Got quite a few more people in here compared to an hour ago. Drygold says I gotta bounce because I spent 4 hours streaming today instead of the 2 I budgeted for. I got shit to do. Sounds good. You have yourself a good night, Drygold. I will be back on Saturday if you want to stop back by. So, what if you've got a second before you gotta bounce, what do you stream? Like if you got, a minute to tell me. If you are so inclined to follow along. Hey, Moon Spiders. D&D prep mostly. Okay, cool. So we do the same thing. Yeah, I'll make sure to check you out. When do you stream? A few other video games when I feel like it after work. Fair enough. Welcome back to the chat, Moon Spiders. Good to see you. People were actually asking about you on Monday, wondering where you were at. Most of my streams are going to be in the middle of the night for you. Laugh out loud. Fair enough. I mean, either way is fine. Still take a look. We got we're apparently a rare bunch, us prep streamers. So we got to make sure we look out for each other. Drygold is now following. Hey, thanks, Drygold. I appreciate it. You're officially follower number 26. We're making good headway. Take it easy. I'll make sure to follow you back here in a bit and try to check you out. Oh no, I only have 200 HP left. That's right. Catboy Tad's got 200 HP left, which means the next follow or the next donation of $1 will actually create a new stream boss. Catboy, if you donate $1, it should heal you 200 HP per dollar as well. Just keep that in mind. But we might have a new stream boss tonight at this rate. So if anyone donates $1 before a Catboy or anyone follows before a Catboy, we will officially have a new stream boss. That reminds me, if you like D&D prep streamers, check out Mandari. Hey, look at that. Yeah, I actually followed her, I want to say it was the second or third night. You're right, it probably is not working. Thank you for letting me know about that, Catboy. I changed everything over to the Aiden's archive, so I need to actually fix that. Let me do that real quick. Okay. Give me just a minute, chat, while I fix the tip jar, because otherwise, you know, like, how's that supposed to work? But yeah, it's my first time changing the name, and hopefully the only time that I'll need to change it. So I obviously have some some learning opportunities here. I actually started the stream a little bit late tonight because of it, a couple minutes late. Because I did not realize I had to change all the URLs over. Making sure all my links work real quick, and then I'll come back to the chat. Okay. It should work now. I don't know if you need a refresh, Catboy, but in theory, it works on my end now. So hopefully that fixes it. But yes, it's True Blue. Thanks for the recommendation of Mandari. Angry Meatball actually recommended the same streamer, so I checked her out earlier this week. So yeah, I like her setup. Yeah, she is pretty funny as well. I love her intro song. I'll have to check out the intro song. Go back and watch some of her VODs, maybe. Damn, maybe I need an intro song. You know, one day. One step at a time. Gotta just make this thing slowly but surely better. Oh snap, Catboy Tad donated $2, defending his title of Stream Boss. Okay, well that's good that works. Now we know for sure that works. So that healed you 400 HP, so that works exactly the way that it's supposed to. Good. That is good. Catboy, you don't want to give up your title, do you? It's True Blue. It rolls credits during the song, but the names are all Mentari. Yeah, I mean, that's, that's something I would do, honestly. That's my type of humor. Alright. Yeah, I guess I'll tell the story, since before D&D wanted me to share it, and we got a bit of an audience. So feel free to throw in questions as I talk, and I'll pause between or try to read. Um, but essentially, the story that Before D&D is referring to is before I started my last campaign that went for about a year. Um, the group that I was playing with, we had a different dungeon master. And this dungeon master, to his own admission, prefers playing than he does DMing. But he kind of had a habit of um, like he would do a lot of things that made the sessions more interesting specifically for him, even if they were like at the detriment of the story's logic or at the detriment of like maybe the player experience himself. And I get it. He's trying to have a good time. He wants to have fun. And ultimately, it was a fun campaign and a great learning experience. So I want to start it off positive because it was a pretty negative experience towards the very end of the campaign, in that he loves evil characters, which is nothing wrong with that, but he loves evil characters. So he always had a kind of a tendency to lean into helping out players who are making evil decisions, right? Case in point, Before D&D's character was an evil character and would do a lot of evil things and get a lot of help that maybe he shouldn't have gotten necessarily from the DM, in order to make the sessions more interesting in his opinion. But anyways, we start off in Faerun, and halfway through the campaign end up getting transported to Eberron. It's kind of an interesting way how he span it to introduce the Eberron setting. But regardless, we're in Eberron, and after maybe 5-6 sessions of being in the Eberron setting, the DM out of game asked me what it would take for my character, which I'm playing Aiden at the time, to basically go evil. And in the backstory of this version of Aiden, he's a monk, Way of the Four Elements monk, so basically kind of like the Avatar, right? And he, in his quest to like kind of learn to master the four elements, he's off on a journey one day, and while he's away from home, all of his family members, all the monks of his temple, are killed, right? And so it's like the one thing that really haunts him is that he wasn't there to protect his family when they needed him, and he's essentially the last surviving member of this group. Very Avatar Last Airbender-esque, unintentionally, but that's what it ended up becoming. It is what it is. I'll give the credit where it's due. So I told him flat out that the only thing that Aiden would ever compromise his morals for would be restoring his people, so he wouldn't have to be the last one, and that they could go on and continue to live. And so basically he introduced a trope that would allow me to do it. He basically introduced a deity that was willing to bring these people back and guarantee their safety if I brought about a significant change to the world. I had to bring change to the world, where the term was the term that the deity used, but I know that was the DM's way of saying I need to do something like fucked up and high level evil, right? And just like in my D&D campaigns, I like to think of like very kind of meticulous and interesting ways to make things happen. And keep in mind that this DM is very like kind of open, in that he gives away a lot of overpowered stuff. He just like throws it out there, right? Like especially if you're doing evil stuff, he just gives it to you. Before D&D can attest that he got a lot of magic items that he should have no business having, regardless of his level, that were not necessarily earned, because the DM thought it was fun, right? So basically, long story short, is there is a city I can't remember what the name of the city is, but the city is interesting in that it has these magic pillars that allow it to float in the sky, right? And so I come up with this plan to basically create a bunch of time delayed anti magic fields and have them placed all over the towers of this city. And then I am going to convince the world leaders of Eberron, because the way that the DM described it is that there were three major factions. You had the Githyanki uh, Queen, you had the Lord of Blades, kind of heading the quote unquote evil Warforged, and then you had this other Warforged character who controlled the city floating in the sky and controlled the quote unquote good Warforged, right? Those are the three major factions that are introduced. So I don't tell the DM what my plan is. I just roleplay all of it. So I straight up tell him, can I make this item that produces an anti-magic field? And I roll for it, do all the work, pay for the materials, and basically pay for the prerequisite items that I'm seeking to make. Don't explain what they're for. I make them, right? And we've used them in other situations, so he doesn't really have any reason to think too much of it. And then I give one of my NPC allies the instructions to place them on the tower, and he is a shapeshifter, so he has a fairly easy time of doing so. And then I leave the party for an in-game week to go and basically coordinate with the world leaders to convince them to show up. So I take a ship and I literally fly to the Githyanki Queen, right? And once again, I'm role playing all of this, right? So it's not like I just say it happens. I literally say, hey, this is what I want to try to do, and me and the DM are role playing it out, right? I actually stole the ship that I used from the Githyanki, so they were a little pissed about that. It is all over the place because that's how the DM is. It is utterly all over the place. So I'm trying to navigate it as clearly as possible. So forgive me, and forgive me if it is a little confusing, because that's how this man runs his campaigns. They're fun, but they are wild and all over the place is the exact right verbiage. But anyway, so I go to the second of these three factions. I go to the Githyanki and I convince the queen to I basically convinced the queen, who is all about raiding and wants to steal from this city, that she'll have the opportunity to steal from the city, and all she has to do is wait a week. And, she basically says, well, why don't I just take you in now? And I said, well, first of all, I came to you. So, and you know how to find me. So there's really no point. If I'm not stupid enough to just come here if I didn't actually have something to offer you. And I roll really well on the persuasion check, so it checks out. I then go to the Lord of Blades, and I disguise myself as a Warforged. And I persuade the Lord of Blades that I am a Warforged that works for him, and that I have also found an opportunity at the city where they will be able to sack the city and take what they want from it. So essentially I convinced these two leaders to assemble their armies in front of the city, so that way when the city falls out of the sky because of the anti-magic field, these two factions are going to, of course, attack the city, which is going to prompt a three-way war from the world's largest factions. That's the long story short. That's the long story short of what the plan is that I am convincing three factions of three opposing groups to show up at the same place at the same time, triggering an event to start a conflict, which will then have a ripple effect on the rest of the world because they're essentially the three world factions. So I roleplay it all. DM checks off on every single thing that I do. Show up to activate the anti-magic fields, and the DM says no. That he doesn't allow it. And that basically the good Warforged invented time travel and undid what I did, so that way it never happened. Which is not a very cash money move, if you ask me. I understand that it would have definitely fucked up his game. Yep, that's what happened. Yep, that is straight up what happened. Is he he retconned it to where my anti-magic fields never happened. Yes. And that's why I rage quit. Was I could have accepted him choosing to be the DM and just saying no to save his game if he hadn't asked me to break it effectively, right? He basically coerced me out of game into playing an evil character, which is something which is not something that I wanted to do. Um, so the setup took essentially 2 weeks of in-game time. It happened over the course of probably 2 sessions. But that's because I did a lot of the planning for it outside of the game, right? Like knowing what my character would do and what the plan would be. Like I wrote out the steps of what I would need to do, knowing that if I failed on probably two of the, 15 steps, it was fucked. Um, yeah, and ultimately I wasn't the only one who rage quit. I was the most upset about it, obviously, but the whole party was kind of fed up with the logic behind it at that point, which kind of prompted the ending of that campaign. And ultimately, the positive of the story is that experience really like kind of pushed me to finally say, okay, I think I've learned enough from playing with all of these different DMs up until this point of how I want to run a D&D campaign. So let me go ahead and give it another shot. Um, no, I did not. And, I think that's probably, some people will debate whether or not that is uh, fair to his point. But at the end of the day, like he did actually tell me to try to surprise him. So it's not like he wanted to necessarily know step by step what my plan was. And ultimately, it was such a cataclysmic thing that if he knew, there's no way he wasn't going to retcon it. Yeah, it did. It was fairly well telegraphed. I think I did a good job of keeping it as low key as possible, but the fact that I had someone setting up anti magic fields on the yeah, you're absolutely right. Like the moment I hand my fucking doppelganger henchman hundreds of fucking anti magic fields to go put on towers throughout his city, he probably should have put two and two together, you know? I don't know. I don't know that I had to spell it all out for him. I think I left enough breadcrumbs. But I think it was still, I thought it was a pretty great plan. That DM is a good friend that we still play with, but out of the four world-ending calamities in the book, three were all brought out within one session. Yeah, and it's like I said, it really goes back to the beginning point is that he tend in my mind, one thing that like separates bad or okay DMs from good or great ones is who they make the decisions for. Like ultimately, DMing can be kind of like a thankless job sometimes, but you're creating an experience for a group of people, and hopefully, like you're getting to enjoy that experience as well. Um, but like this DM was really like DMing more for his own experience at times than like for our experience. It was still fun, but you could tell that like he would do things just so he would find it more enjoyable in the moment as opposed to making it make sense or making it like more enjoyable for the players. And sometimes candidly as DM you just got to kind of, be patient, sacrifice some of your own enjoyment to a certain extent, right? Like obviously you want to have fun as the DM, but you really are creating a world and a story for other people. So, but like I said at the very beginning, his own admission is that he prefers to play and rather than DM. he was nice enough to give it a shot for us. So I will never hold it against him at the end of the day. He still plays in our group. He's one of our 6 players in our D&D campaign, right? And if it weren't for that experience, I wouldn't be nearly as good of a DM as I am now. So it is what it is. But yes, I was a little booty blasted at the time. Empire ending events are the most fun parts of world events. Should have gone for a complete set. Yeah, you're right, Catboy. It is unfortunate that we did not get the complete set of world ending calamities. I have a hard time not skipping straight to them. I can't fathom trying to undo one. Yeah. It was it was a rough night for sure. Cause man, I was on such a high too. I'm not gonna lie. Like having all of these things line up roleplay wise, rolling the natural 20 to convince the Lord of Blades that I wasn't a fucking fake Warforged. Woo! It was a good roll. You know, like it was just. If you see this, we love you, Stan. We do love you, Stan. We wish Stan would come to the stream, because Stan always has good ideas as well. But that man is off in his own world sometimes. Let's see. Let me. But yeah, thanks for listening to my story, guys. You know. Ever just too tired to be creative? That is a great question, and the answer is yes, of course. You know, like there are definitely times, at least with me, the thing that I find usually first slips, and I try to like I'm trying to manage it better for the next campaign. Is my descriptions. When I get tired or I'm not feeling as inspired, like in the moment, um, I'll usually find that the amount of words or how descriptive I get with certain things goes down, especially when it comes to combat. So you just have to set yourself up for success, right? And sometimes it's frankly better to maybe even cut like a session early if you know that you can't give it that 100%, than to try to like trudge through it. And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you know that you just got to get through to the moment that is going to be, you know, is going to help push you back. I have neither the motivation to be productive or lay down. Yeah, that limbo state. Too tired to work, but too much energy to rest. Become more and more tired until you're creative again, or start hallucinating. Hallucinating works. Start tripping balls. Before D&D, I heard Stephen King just pushes through. He gives himself 10 pages a day rule, and eventually he gets a second wind. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, especially when you have like deadlines, it's obviously a little different when you are an author like Stephen King, but sometimes it's the mentality you have to have with anything, right? If you have a certain amount of work that you want to get done, sometimes you just got to sit there and force yourself to do it until it's done. Yeah, Stephen King is crazy though. His whole writing ritual is pretty insane. publish more writing than any one person has any right to. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, this dude straight up stopped a book in the middle of it and published it anyways. Which book is that? I mean, that guy can pretty much do whatever he wants at this point, sounds like. Alright, give me just a second. I'm going to throw the be right back thing up. I'm just going to go grab another water. But I'll be back in like 10 seconds. I just need an excuse to show this little thing off. BRB. Okay, I am back. Okay. We back. Yeah, sorry, I had to get some water. Welcome back to the stream, Wandiki. Once a motherfucking again. It's good to see you. Let's see. Let me go ahead and... You want me to make you a mod, Wandiki? Sure. I got no problem with that. You'd be a good moderator. Help keep Moon Spiders in check for me when he's getting a little off his rocker. Let's see. Let me catch up on the chat real quick since I had to grab my water. Because no one would be able to tell the difference between an unfinished work and one of his normal endings. That is very accurate. Okay. Okay, so I just bought The Wild Beyond the Witchlight because I'm a horrible impulse buyer. And the back cover, the book has a displacer piece on it, but it doesn't have tentacles and it has butterfly wings. Interesting. I have that book. I haven't actually read it though, because I am also an impulse buyer when it comes to D&D stuff. Does anyone in this chat also have the giant Tiamat, or is it just me? Am I the only one who spent money on that? Yes, please do post a pic of it. Okay. I wanted that so bad. Catboy Tat says, wait, what? They released back in December a 400. It should only be $400. I say only, not only. I got it a little bit cheaper on Amazon. I hate shopping on Amazon for miniatures, but with it being that expensive, I needed to take the best deal I could get on it. But yeah, regular price is like $400 on a gargantuan Tiamat miniature. Like, may as well not even be called a miniature because this thing is huge. Once I have the setup, actually, you can probably see it in the podcast episode. But for sure, once I'm on the set, for the stream, you guys will be able to see it every time because I'm going to have it in frame where you guys can look at it. Because that thing is huge, you know. I plan to use it in the campaign, but I gotta have any excuse I can to show that thing to people because I spent too much money on it. So, yeah, it's behind you on the set. That's what I thought. Posted. Let me go check it out. That's interesting. Hey, but it's the Feywild, so anything can happen. Is it painted? Yes, it is painted. And I did get an email the other day, so I think apparently they came out with an unpainted one, which I assume is significantly cheaper if you'd rather buy it unpainted and paint it yourself. So maybe that's an option as well. That's getting close to computer buying money. That's fair. That's fair. Miniatures, I don't know. I love having the right miniatures for my game, so plus the Tiamat does not exist in my world, but the equivalent to Tiamat is a very very big deal. So is anyone going to get the Multiverse of Monsters? I probably will. I mean, at this point, may as well buy every damn book. So, hey, Dry Gold, you're back. Okay, welcome back. Yeah, I'll likely end up getting it. Comes out next month, I think. Unless you go buy one of those bundles, you can get it early, apparently. It is going to add a shit ton of playable races. I always used whatever I had lying around to represent monsters. That's fair. That is fair. There's nothing wrong with that either. Like, honestly, going more theater of the mind or just using what you have. It's not a cheap hobby. I don't really recommend it at all. But, you know, I don't have a lot of things that I collect. So, at least they get some practical use. Especially if I'm going to keep streaming this stuff and sharing it with you guys. So, it is what it is. They're coming out with a Tarrasque one. The thing is gigantic. It might be going on the opposite shelf of Tiamat. We'll see. It's hot outside, so fuck cleaning out my car. That's right, yeah. Opposite time zones. Well, welcome back. You know, for what it's worth. I'll put it on my Christmas list probably. That's fair. That would be a good Christmas present. Unless Knolls become playable, I don't give fuck one about new races. It might be listed. I'm sure they have some. It has to be leaked because the DM that we were just talking about in the story, he bought the special edition that comes with like Tasha's Xanathar's Guide to Everything and then the new book and all the special covers. I don't know if he was supposed to be able to buy it yet, but he has it. He got the hookup because he's good friends with someone at a gaming shop. Let me look it up. Let's see if that thing is released where people can get it. Yeah. You can get it delivered as soon as February 11th. If you're willing to shell out. I won't tell him that he got maybe a little ripped off, but I think he paid $180 for it to get all three of those special edition books. So that's too much for me. But then again, I bought a $400 dragon, so it's too much for me because I already have two of the books. And I love the special cover art, but it's not worth all that. when I can just buy the other book on sale for 30-40 bucks. True Blue says, I've never played a game in person in my home state, so there's that. I don't own any minis because I can't use them and they collect dust. That is very fair. I pretty much run only in-person games at this point, so it's obviously going to be a little different. There are advantages and disadvantages to online for sure. One advantage of online is you do not necessarily feel the compulsion to spend money on these miniatures like I do, so I'm sure your wallet thanks you. Also, I started using Roll20 for maps. I feel like it would be more wanted if the racial feats were a bit more unique and useful. It is leaked on the site that Meatball posted. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be on 5e Tools. Gnolls are playable in the DMG, apparently. Let's see. Drygold says, yeah, right, I know. I feel like minis are only a part of the game as an old appendix of D&D's wargaming origins and a way for folks to extract money out of people. Well, you're not wrong, because they are extracting it out of me. Okay, they're only an NPC race in the DMG. Looks like at least half of the playable races are reprints from other sources, Elemental Evil, Lola's Guide, etc. Yeah, that's kind of the theme of the book, apparently, is that they're reprinting / tweaking a lot of the stuff that's come out in various editions to both consolidate into one book and then prep for 60 is the supposed rumor. Even a person, I feel like by the time you have a character sheet and books and dice and snacks on the table, then who the hell has a table big enough for a tactical map and minis? I will. That's the goal. I've got a pretty big... So my table is a little bit of a jerry-rig system right now. I actually have 4 tables I got from IKEA just shoved together to make this kind of like gigantic table that's big enough for the tactical map and then the miniatures. So I make it work. And I'm actually looking into buying a new table by the time the campaign rolls around. So yes, 4 tables. They're not like big IKEA tables. They're like small desks, really. But together they make one solid functional table. Yes, but I love things like cool things to put on display. Exactly. I love books that I can see on the shelves and open up and look at all the pictures. Yep. It definitely makes the set look nicer. It makes... I don't know, it's just nice to look at. When I look up and I see my Tiamat there, you know, it's like having a trophy. Except I didn't win anything, I had to pay for it. So, there's that. I usually play in my living room, which does not have a table suitable for gaming. That is fair. Yeah, that's part of the reason why we're doing this whole remodel in my house. Right? Like, basically, I've retrofitted my garage into a huge living room / game room. So, / podcast set for the sake of the podcast. So, you know, not everyone has the affordable space to do that, but when you have a 3-bedroom house and you live on your own with a dog, then you got plenty of space to make it happen. I never read entirely because screw that. That is completely fair. Yes, try gold. 4 tables. Like I said, they're more like desk size. Like initially that was the idea, is to use them as desks, but that's the beauty of IKEA. You can just slap it together and make something new. It seems like it's for Adventurers League, if anything, +1 rule. I do as well. There are no rules as written playable dogfolk in D&D. I thought totally nulls were playable, but it looks dope. What does Wandiki, the garage setup? It does look dope. It is pretty badass. If that's what you're referring to, I assume so. You need Pugmire. I've heard of Pugmire. I do have a couple monster plushies. I got a red dragon for Christmas last year. I actually have a big dice plushie that I love because, you know, like when we have like big rules, you know, like a death saving throw, like just anything like where I'm trying to make it more dramatic, I'll get the big plushie out and roll it in front of everybody. I watched the video by its creators, I think. Let me look up what Pugmire is. Oh my god. Yeah, I kind of assumed that's what it was gonna be, but I could see a lot of people liking that. That's pretty cute, actually. Some of this artwork is next level. Oh man. Pugmire. What will they think of next? All right. We're making good time. Let's see. Let's see if we got any fresh faces in here. Looks like it. Well, if you guys have made your way here, thanks for showing up. Stream number 5, going pretty well. Oh, we got about an hour and 15 minutes left in the stream, so we got plenty of time. Just kind of recap. If you have any topics that you'd like to throw in to the discussion, feel free to do so. Throw them in the chat. We will be doing a magic item deep dive. We got quite a few magic items on Monday's stream. Haven't really gotten any magic item names this stream, but no big deal. If you have any ideas, feel free to throw them in the chat, so that way on Saturday we can actually build out the magic item itself and come up with some cool stuff for you guys to introduce into your own campaigns, whether they be D&D or other RPGs. That is the whole theme here. Sharing ideas, both for my use in my future campaign, hopefully, and for your use in your own campaigns. So, share away. If you've been here this long and you're not already following, go ahead and hit that follow button. Catboy Tad is fighting like hell to hold his title of stream boss, so I'll be interested to see who ends up taking his place. It looks like he'll probably hold it for a good while, but you never know. Let's see. Stream number 5. Yeah, that's right, Dragold. I started this stream last week, believe it or not. First stream was last Monday, and we did a stream Wednesday and Saturday, and then of course this most previous Monday. So this makes the 5th one. So it's been picking up steam a lot faster than what I expected, to be totally honest. I didn't know if there are going to be a lot of people who would be interested in this idea of kind of like an open market of ideas. But so far it has been going very well. So I appreciate all you guys showing up. And yeah, 26 people and 5 streams, I would not have guessed. So I'm excited. It helps keep me motivated to do this for sure because I really did not think it was going to turn out like this. Catboy says, "Oh, I almost forgot. Magic item, high energy thermometer. Okay, copy. Wand of gambling. Okay. Because I remember your wand of randomness from last time. It's true blue. So what, what does the wand of gambling do in your mind? Obviously, we can flesh it out on Saturday, but wand of gambling. This wand has 6 charges. You can expend a charge to roll a D100. On a roll of 100, you double all of your gold. On a roll of 1 through 99, you lose all of your money. Instead of a completely random effect, it has a 50-50 chance of affecting you negatively or positively in any given moment. Okay, fair enough. That's something we can flesh out for sure. Put some parameters around. I like it. Speaking of gambling, you guys have any like interesting games that you like to play within the actual like RPG setting, like any dice or card games that you like to use? I.e., in a fight, it could cast slow on the enemy or it could cast slow on you. You need to climb a tower. It could give you a ladder that's as tall as you want, or it could... Ah! Okay, it could break your legs. That's... Ooh. Alright. That's intense. Yeah, I don't like those odds either, Catboy. Like, especially with that last line, I could either get a ladder or I could get broken legs. I don't know if I call those 50-50. That sounds like there's a house edge on that. I got you in there, Angry Meatball. The Dawn Star's Diadem. The Bow of Artemis. I don't know. I wrote a dice sports game with a friend called Yeet or Beat. You could have player characters play that in universe. How does Yeet or Beat work? What are the rules to Yeet or Beat? That's not a wand of gambling blue. That's a wand of you're going to have a bad time. I mean, honestly, though, gambling is generally speaking, you're going to have a bad time. So it's pretty accurate, I just wouldn't call it 50-50. That's the only thing that I have issue with. Because those are not equivalent trades to call it 50-50. Like, there's a 50% chance you break your leg, or a 50% chance you get a ladder that you can climb up this tower with. Mantis flip coin takes me back. Shaolin Showdown. What's the difference? It's only you're going to have a bad time, probably. Yeah, the stakes are too high. I'm not taking those odds, to be honest, but that's why I'm not much of a gambler. Psh, stakes. You gonna take those odds? It's True Blue? 50-50 shot, you get a ladder, you break your legs, are you taking that bet? Caution is why wind exists. So we can eat that shit. That's the only reason. That's canon. This is why wind exists within the world now. It's the only reason. So we can yeet that shit. But yeah, Dragold, how does yeet or beat work? I knew there was a reason I liked being here. What's that reason, Catboy? Because we yeet caution to the wind? Sting of the Wasp. That reminds me of, I don't know if anyone in here, I know Wandiki has, actually. That was almost a lie. I don't know if anyone else has watched Bleach, but that kind of reminds me of one of the characters from Bleach. Puns, yes. Mostly bad puns, if we're being honest, but a pun is a pun, and bad puns are also the best puns. So... I'm glad I could get some puns in here for you today. Take a set of polyhedral 1 round for each different dice. Each round you throw a dice, and whoever throws the dice a number of meters closest to their dice roll get 1 point. Whoever has the highest score when you've yeeted all your dice wins. Okay. So it's kind of like skeet shooting? Or is that what it's called? Like the Olympic game. No, I don't remember what it's called. Oh shit, you got a whole doc on yeet or beat. Hell yeah. Curling, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, curling. Hey, if you are so inclined, because this is great, I'm gonna put it on my doc just so I have it regardless. But I don't want to post it unless you actually want to post it. We do have a Discord. If you would like to join, and we have a thread for this kind of stuff. So if you want to share it with some other people who maybe aren't in the chat right now, then you can do that in the externals thread. But actually, I'm gonna go ahead and print this shit out. That way I have it for my binder. Okay, I did. I posted it in there, so it'll be archived. But yeah, feel free, Dry Gold. If you'd like to join the Discord, that's where we pretty much post and share any of the content or discussion when we're not live on Twitch. We did write this game pre-pandemic, to be fair. Okay, cool. Are you sick of being told to put down your dice and go play outside? Please do not go play outside. There is a pandemic. Let's see. Helm of the Hokage. Why do you put these things like I don't know what you're referencing? I'll put it on the list, but it's not going in my campaign. I just want you to know that. But someone else might want to use it. So, I'm not using your Naruto reference in my campaign. Not like that. That's too obvious. If I'm going to reference Naruto, it's going to be more subtle. Oh, wow. We just jumped up. Hello, newcomers. Welcome to the stream. Whether you're lurking or talking, we welcome you here. But feel free to join in the conversation if you haven't already. Let's see. Thank you for posting the Discord link. It's True Blue. I should have most of the relevant links in panels directly beneath the between the stream or below the stream if you need them, but the links help as well. The Ventifact Shard. Okay. But yeah, guys, if you are new to the stream, we are talking about magic items right now. We're compiling a list for Saturday's stream when we will... Oh, Tears of Rage, I like that. We will actually do a deep dive and see how many of these we can flesh out into actual, fully ready-to-use magic items for in a D&D or other RPG game. We do have a few other topics on the list. Feel free to add what you like. It is an open market of ideas, so if you see an idea that you like, take it. It's yours. These are not specifically for my use. I do plan to use plenty of them in the campaign, but the idea is for all of us to benefit. So, can I put it in the Homebrewers Guild? But yeah, if it's your first time here, don't be shy. Say hello. We don't bite here. It's a lot of puns and D&D conversation mostly. The Hedrons of Destiny. Yes, I forgot Catboy. We established. Catboy does sometimes, but Arrows of Tree. It's an arrow that when it strikes soil or rock, it grows into a full, huge-sized tree over the next round of combat. Okay. I like that. Very straight to the point, you know. There's no confusing what it does with a name like Arrows of Tree. The Evermind. Go a lot of directions with that. The Evermind. I'd be interested to see how many of these we can knock out, because we got a good handful. But the more the merrier, because we can always save these, like whatever we don't accomplish on Saturday. If we have anything left over for the next magic item stream, the Ogre's Knuckle. Hell yeah. Probably didn't need to put it like that, but okay, there we go. The shadow and the light. We'll probably just drop the thes and do light and shadow. But that is the beauty of sharing ideas. How dirty can we go? Because that reminded me of something from one of my campaigns. My filters are set to basically be as low as possible, as long as you are not throwing out racial slurs or attacking anyone in my chat. I don't really care. Or, you know, obviously if someone says they're uncomfortable, we'll tone it down, but I genuinely don't really give a shit what you guys say in my chat. So, for the most part. So, I hope we're all adults here from our last conversation on Monday. It was pretty much established that we're all adults here, so feel free to say what you wish, as long as it is not intentionally hurtful to someone else in the stream. Titty, unacceptable. Wait, why did... Alright. I don't know why Alexa responded to titty, but, you know. The Time of Simon. It has what Simon said. What? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put it. You remember that thing about... Oh, nope. Not like that. Not like that. Alexa answered to titty. Oh, shit. Well, I said her name that time.
Calling with Alexa is not supported on this device. You can use the Alexa app instead.
Technology, guys. The Tome of Simon. That makes way more sense than the Time of Simon. And It's True Blue said that blank answered to titty. Oh my god, I'm dead. Yeah. Yeah, because I definitely didn't say her name when you said titty the first time, so. Angry Meatball says, as a Scot, I found that what's acceptable to me is generally unacceptable to most. Hey man, you'd be surprised, but at the end of the day, you know, it's just all about reading the room. Dry gold. Charon's decanter. It's a decanter of endless water, but as someone who has drank from it within whatever amount of time, day and month that they die, they immediately raise as an undead with the same stat block. Oh, that's interesting. What kind of undead would you say? The Tome of Simon. Cowboy Tad said, so the party raided a wizard's tower, and I randomly decided that they found a severed orc penis. They proceeded to keep it for the rest of the campaign. You are not alone, my friend. I have had players in my campaigns keep orc penises as well. So, don't worry. I hope no one is triggered by the word titty or penis, because we've already crossed that line. But yeah, you know, I've quite literally had players keep an orc dick. So, no, she defo answered to titty again. Now, that time I had accidentally said her name and then titty immediately after. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that that one was my fault. But she does, like, she's acting up lately. Like, she's been responding to a lot of things that don't sound anything like her name. But I think I have the, like, very first generation one, so I don't know if maybe the microphones are going bad. It's True Blue said, BRB, it's time for grandma dinner. I have to make her some pizza tonight. Take your time. It's True Blue. You know, we'll be here for another 45 minutes or so. We got plenty of time. I mean, like, just chunk the zombie template over their stat block, I guess. Okay. Fair enough. And It's True Blue said, I mean, the party and Critical Role campaign one kept a troll dick. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is with people's fascination with keeping monster dicks, but they tend to do it. You're not alone. Tanja. Or Tajana. Croatian for secret. Okay. Good old Croatian. Angry Meatball. Well, I've been careful not to throw the word cunt about, but if it's not a problem, perhaps I'll not please myself. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Once again, just unless, you know, someone says that they're uncomfortable, we'll try to be accommodating, but you're not going to offend me with the word, right? Like I said, for me, it's more if what the intention is. If you're trying to hurt someone's feelings in the chat, I'm not gonna allow that, but obviously I don't expect that kind of problem from you guys. You know, like it's all about the intention rather than the word for me. So, but if someone in the chat feels uncomfortable and they say so, let's just all try to be respectful of that. That would be my only other ask. Catboy Tad said, I, for one, am rather hard to offend. We're going to have some fun on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, between Monday's list and this one, we've got a lot of options to pick from. So I would definitely suggest if you guys are interested in checking out Saturday's stream, I will start at 8 sharp. Shouldn't have any technical difficulties this time now the transition with the names all set up. But the sooner you guys get in here, you know, the sooner we can start cracking through them, because I try to let the creation process be, you know, like largely collaborative, as you guys can probably tell by now. So, you know, I'm sure Angry Meatball and Catboy will probably be there from the beginning, and we'll just be knocking them out. So, the sooner you get in, the more items you get to influence the final decisions on. Dry Gold said, "Oh, Pot of Awakening is a great one. It's a slightly cracked ceramic pot. If you plant something, it becomes a little awakened shrub guy." Don't they have something like that? I feel like they have something like that in the DMG. I might be mistaken, but I feel like I've read something like that before. Let's see. It's True Blue says, "I don't get offended. Good to know." And Catboy said, "Do you smash it on someone's head to wake them up?" Mantle of the Swarm Lord. The Bag of Avarice. Ooh. I can get my mouse to work. It's not an original idea for me. I got it from someone else's home through. I just think they're neat. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I feel like I've definitely read that before, so maybe, I don't know if I've seen the homebrew or if it's maybe based off another item. But either way, it's cool. It's a good idea. Well, I don't get offended, but it is upsetting when someone is rude or cruel to me for no reason. Understanding other people is not a strong suit for me. I mean, in all honesty, understanding doesn't have to be a strong suit for, you know, it to kind of be like just generally not okay for people to just be dicks. So I guess that's the biggest takeaway when it comes to the offensive language parameters of Aiden's archive is it's pretty open. Just don't be a dick. If you're being a dick to somebody, then you're not going to make it very far in here. But we've got we so far have a pretty good group of people. No one's, at least to my knowledge, upset anyone in this group, so let's just keep that trend going. Oh, Fool's Gold. It's a gold piece that if you add to a pouch of coins or a bank vault, it turns all the other gold pieces in that collection into stone. Oh, shit. I usually try to ask them to stop before I get upset. It's the best you can do. Just, end the conversation with them. If that won't stop, don't worry. If it ever comes to that, I'm sure if we get big enough, eventually there will be the occasional dickhead who makes their way into the chat. But by that point, we will have a handful of moderators. Let me put that on the list. That is a very punishing magic item. But there is a place for it. At least turn them to copper. I mean, honestly, I might be more upset if it turned them to copper than if it turned them to stone. Because while copper technically has a use, I think I'd rather just have the stones. You gotta commit to the bit. That's fair. Certified Whipback says, I can't remember if I saw the wand of the wizard here or not. Goblins chopped off a wizard's hand and attached it to a stick and it shoots burning hands. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I don't think that was here. Certified Webback. I definitely don't remember it. Bro, this is a long list. You guys are killing it. Especially since we kind of got into the swing of things like 30 minutes ago. Like, we're knocking stuff out. The Silver Tongue of Campaign Relevant Character. The Silver Tongue of Captain John Bigotegra. There we go. Dragold says, nah, I've used it before. The player who took it will be angry until they realize that they can fuck with rich people with it. Yeah, it's generally how players go. Once they can see some practicality out of their punishment, they'll get over it. True blue lol. You gotta give it to them when they're broke is the thing, so it's not too punishing. Yeah, that's fair. That makes total sense. Angry Meatball says, I'd always take copper over stone. Copper has plenty more use than gold in small farming towns or places in the middle of nowhere. How are you going to buy something from someone too poor to break $100? Fair enough. If I may go ahead and throw out some less useful ones, the Cloak of Visibility makes you easier to see. Goggles of Short-sightedness makes far-off things look blurry, and the Slippers of Slipperiness. All surfaces are like ice to the wearer. You know what, Catboy? I think at this point, I'm probably going to create an NPC specifically for you. That like just if you have a name suggestion, because you know, feel free to throw it out. But I already had a concept in mind for a vendor that sells less than useful magic items almost exclusively, but he's like a very good salesman, so he knows how to like spin it and really make it sound like somehow this is useful. And he makes he's obviously not the biggest magic shop owner in the world, but I don't know. It's a concept I've been thinking about, so I think you'd probably be Rilee Runeweather. Okay. Yeah, a real slick, fast talking guy. Like, he just talks so fast that you don't even understand that you just bought slippers that make everything slippery. Let me just actually, I'm going to write it down in my notebook as well. But yeah, I'm going to need, obviously, a lot of NPCs, so, you know, when I find appropriate fits. Nope, Rune Speaker? Okay. Okay. And then I'll put it on the character doc as well. Alright. Well, I'm sure my players won't remember. Runeseller? Alright, we're going with Runeseller. Obviously, if this name changes, feel free to let me know. We got plenty of time before the campaign. But there will be a Catboy tag character in the campaign. Official. It's done. I've got it not only on the dock, but in the official DM notebook. So. A Runeseller. I like that. Let me go back up to the magic items. Oof. Catboy, I think you got this in the bag. You're going to hit your second stream as stream boss. You only got 30 minutes for someone to knock you off. It's not looking likely. You know Dragon's Teeth from Jason's Quest for the Golden Fleece? I do not. To be honest, I have no idea. But I will look it up. Yeah, I found the Wikipedia. I'm looking at it right now. What the fully armed warriors. Oh, I like that. You could even make it, you know, honestly, just call it the Bag of Bones, and just make it fully thematic, right? You just literally have, you know, 10 small bones. You throw however many down, and it makes a skeleton. 1 per bone. And that's the beauty of this stuff, right? We found a lot of that when we were doing the character creation deep dive. Hold on. I can't type tonight. Anyways, when we were doing the character deep dive, we found that, hey, Stoneless Bee, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. We found that, like, little simple tweaks would just, you know, like, make the same core concept, like, usable in a lot of different ways. So this is kind of the same thing. So it's the same thing. We are officially at 27 followers. Thanks to that last follow from Stoneless B. So thank you, Stoneless B, for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. We are just about in our last 30 minutes of tonight's stream. So I'll go ahead and say, you know, thank you once again if you guys have made it here. If you're watching and you're not already following, then you probably should hit that follow button. We are streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday from 8 p.m. Central Time to midnight. So make sure to join us on Saturday. As you can see, we've got a great list of magic items that we came up with tonight. And Saturday's stream is going to be entirely dedicated into building out those magic items so that they are fully usable in your next D&D campaign or session or what have you, right? So this is, you know, this whole stream is about world building, character creating, theory crafting, all that great stuff. not only so I can take it and use it in the next big D&D campaign that I'm writing, but so you guys can use it in campaigns and sessions of your own. So if you like what you see here, and maybe you don't want to wait till the next stream to be able to post an idea or share something of your own, we do have a Discord. The Discord link is right below the right below the stream, so feel free to join and kind of hop in the conversation outside of our streaming hours. And yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Okay. But yeah, Draggle, you can easily just get rid of the mythological reference and make it, you know, like it's just a simple change. You're just changing where the source of the magic effectively comes from, you know. Catboy Ted said, so I decided I'm gonna have a corporation named Aiden's Archival Services in my upcoming campaign. What does the company do? I have never had a party that didn't identify magic items. Ooh. Interesting. What does Aiden's Archival Service do? Well, I mean, so I would think it's, you know, kind of what we do here. Archive, we're archivists. We're taking all these concepts of the world and putting them together in one collection where they're easy to see. So, maybe we archive people's lives or stories, or, I don't know. You could go archival. Archival kind of narrows it down to it has to be some kind of recording or collection. So maybe they maybe it's less of a service, but more of like a group that specifically seeks out to archive the information of your world. Because that's kind of what we do here, right? Is we're not only archiving information for my world, but potentially countless worlds that you guys might go out and create, or future followers or viewers might go out and create, or have already created, and then you add new content. Would they twig that a bag full of dragon teeth would be something that needed identifying, though? Yeah, I agree with Catboy. I mean, it depends on your party. Every party is different, but there are a lot of parties that have at least the one paranoid wizard who will identify everything. Like case in point, if you watch Critical Role in Campaign 2, that's basically what fucking Caleb does at any opportunity. He will sit down and ritual cast identify for the most mundane items, just to make sure. Detect magic, ritual cast, you sense the magic, alright, I'm gonna identify it. So. Dead Man's Bane. Ooh, that would be a great anti-undead weapon. Or magic item. Hell yeah. That's true, it does not reveal curses. It's a ship. How is it a ship? But it does not mean they would not cast the spell. Every setting should have a ghost ship. Well, maybe we'll need to put that as a side project for next Monday's stream. Come up with ghost ship ideas. What's the story of the ghost ship, the Dead Man's Bane? Yeah, I mean that's like it's that's like a perfect name for something anti-undead. Dead Man's Bane? Like, you know? It just came to my mind immediately when I read that. Like, even if it wasn't like that, you could do anything with that and make it anti-undead. Like, it doesn't even need to be a weapon or a magic item. It could be like a flower that you use to ward off undead, whether it even works or not. Maybe it's just a nickname for a flower that people have, you know? Because they think stories tell it wards off the undead. Yeah. Folklores is something we're gonna have to do in a later stream as well. Or like superstitions, I guess, is more of what I'm trying to say. Like little things that people might realistically believe that have interesting implications in a fantasy role playing setting. Oh shit, Catbo, you're back to 400 HP. I just noticed that. Yeah, that makes sense because Stoneless B just followed. You got 24 minutes, Catboy. 23 basically to close out the stream. Hold your streak. Yeah, you'll probably survive the stream. I'd be surprised. I mean, it would basically take someone dropping a $2 donation or two people just following us back to back at this point. So, you're probably in good shape. But in fairness, I was not expecting the Stoneless B follow right now. You know, you never know. And the beauty of the stream boss is you can always claim the title back. It's a good stream, guys. We did good tonight. This is a lot of content for us to work on. Like, we're gonna have a lot to work with on Saturday. So I hope you guys will join us. I know at least a couple of you will, because you always show up on time, and I appreciate my regulars. But I hope some of our newer faces, whether you even just join and lurk and you see what we do, right? That not only helps the stream, but obviously, hopefully, you guys are lurking because you enjoy the ideas that we're coming up with, and you can make use of them. But I'm excited. Now, just in fairness to Certified Wetback, I'll just let you know right now. Obviously, other people can do whatever they want, which is why I put the magic items on like this. But I probably won't make direct references to like the Bow of Artemis. I would end up changing that name for my campaign. Helm of the Hokage, especially. You know, we can come up with a magic item for it, but I'm not calling it the Helm of the Hokage. That's just not gonna work. I may as well just call it Naruto's helmet. At that point, I'm gonna be that obvious with it. So Aiden's Archival Services, among other things, publishes encyclopedias. Okay, fair enough. As long as if you put Aiden Stormchaser in your campaign, you have to do him well. That is his full name, by the way. Or full title, so to speak. Aiden Stormchaser. What a character. Yeah, the thing about the bow of Artemis and the wings of Orion is that they were Greek mythology lovers. They were both hunters, so the idea is that they wielded together. They get an extra bonus, maybe like a small heal or something. Yeah, I mean there are ways that I could retrofit that to make more sense. It's just I don't want to directly. I'm pretty sure Artemis is the god of the hunt. I don't think that's. Let me double check that. But I'm pretty sure Artemis is literally the goddess of the hunt. Yeah, the goddess of wild animals, the hunt, and vegetation. What was the last name again? I'll type it in the chat. Stormchaser, though. Aiden Stormchaser. Orion is one of another son of Zeus, so both powerful in their own rights. Yeah, I mean Zeus was having mad babies. You know, who isn't Zeus's kid? But yes, I will always put my spicy spin on it. Oh, that's cool. I just noticed that when. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. I'm tripping. That was your custom message from when you left the donation. I was thinking that was tied to the actual healing. Never mind. You're too clever, Catboy. Mm. Let's see. Dry Gold. What names? What days do you normally stream? If you're still hanging around. And if not, I hope you have a great night. Oh, man. We're already over halfway to affiliate by stream 5. That's insane to me. Because I think the 50 followers is all we need at this point. Because by Monday we'll meet the stream number requirement. Because this is 5, so Saturday will be 6. Yeah, next Monday will be 7. So that's the only thing stopping us at that point. Is finding 23 other people who like what we do here enough to drop a follow. I mean, I made affiliate in 28 days during the heart of the pandemic. That was a great time to start streaming. Yeah, it makes sense. I bet there's kind of a spike in the number of people using it, and I'm sure it's still kind of persisting. Don't forget to let me know whenever you start streaming again. It's True Blue. Gotta make sure to check it out. Talked about it a little bit earlier when it was really just the three of us. But does anyone in the chat know what disc plates are? For sure, just accepted a job offer, so it should be in the next month-ish. Hey, congratulations! I hope whatever the new job is you're excited about. I'm actually starting a new job next month as well, that I am very excited about. And then I will also need to get a new computer at some point, so that way I can actually stream from the very nice set that I've spent all this time, this last week and a half, putting together. And that way I don't only have to use it for the podcast. I've seen several YouTubers plug disc plates. Yeah, I really like the wall theme concept that I'm thinking about doing. Like, I'm really excited about it. So, and that's kind of where I saw it. I saw a bunch of people recommending it on YouTube. So I have two coming in, and if they look good, what I think I'm gonna do is either tomorrow or Friday, I'm going to take some, like, hopefully I get the disc plates in, and I'll take like some pictures of what the set looks like so you guys can see it. You know, it'll still be kind of like, there's a lot of work to do, but it's mostly set up. It's functional at this point. But I've got some more furniture coming in, and we're trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do the cameras and things like that. But one of the things that I'm thinking is that I'm going to do this kind of like themed wall where people can add to it, because the way that disc plates work in theory is that as long as people buy the appropriate size disc plate, then they will all fit relatively seamlessly together, as long as I don't, you know, all I have to do is line them up, put the magnets, and it'll kind of create this kind of cohesive, seamless wall that fleshes out over time. So I guess for the podcast, or just, you know, fans of the stream who are so inclined could like maybe pick out a disc plate and have it go on this themed wall. So, but I'm very excited for my Spider-Man disc plate. It's True Blue says, if they like my references, I will be trained to be a registered behavior technician for kids that have autism. That's awesome. I wish you luck with that. I'm sure they'll like your references. You got this. The Hindrance of Destiny. Dang, we're gonna have a lot to choose from. I'm trying to look through the list right now and figure out which, you know, what we're gonna start with. I'll probably just let the first few viewers pick where we start, and then we'll go from there. Try to knock out the whole list. Arrows of Tree. The Hindrance of have reality warping powers. They could. One thing that I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to decide if certain staple magic items actually make their way into the game, or if I come up with my own variants, or if I just get rid of them altogether. The best example being the Deck of Many Things. I have an actual deck that I bought and I used in my last campaign. And it worked out fairly well. It didn't break the game, thank God. But bro, make the Hendrons like that episode from Community. You mean the multiple reality thing where he like throws the dice and you see the different variants of the episode, or like the different timelines? The evil timeline. The biggest one, which has 20 faces, is the most powerful. Does the D100 not count? Oh no, I guess if it's a set of 6, there wouldn't be a D100, would there? Be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20? Yeah, that's 6. Yeah, makes sense. D20 should be the most powerful one. That would be a cool substitute to deck of many things. Maybe there's 6 scaling powerful little dice. Keeps it in theme with D&D, switches things up for a little bit. I like that. I'm going to put a note for it so we don't forget. Maybe we'll start with that one on Saturday. Just because it'll be interesting enough that it should carry me, you, and Angry Meatball through until we get some more people in. Yeah, I mean, we tend to make good conversation until the crowd rolls in regardless, but 6 dice scaling in power, that should definitely eat up some time. I just realized what I need to do is I need to start posting these docs into the Discord. I'm going to start doing that. I'll make a text channel for it. So that way if you guys want to go back and read through the docs, then you actually have access to them. Okay, sounds good, Certified Webback. Thanks for stopping in. Have a good night, and I will see you Saturday. Oh, is it 12 already? Oh, you know what? It is 12 because I started the stream slightly late because of the technical difficulties. Not that it really ended up affecting anything, but with that being said, yeah, go ahead and throw the raid suggestion because I'm going to cut it, timer-wise a little bit early, but it is midnight, which is when I usually try to wrap it up, so I'm not going to hold you guys for 6 minutes just for the sake of holding you for 6 minutes. So, yeah, that's fine. I'll go ahead and throw in the raid, and then you guys can continue the party from there. But kind of my last little plug for the night. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream number 5. Huge success. Please come back Saturday if you'd like to help build some magic items or just even watch us build some magic items. Copies of the doc will be available for review on the Discord. I will plug those in tomorrow. And if you missed anything and want to watch the video, chat will now be available through the YouTube videos going forward. And that YouTube video should be up first thing tomorrow. If you like what you see here and maybe want to see some of our other projects, there is a link in the Discord to our D&D podcast. We just released the first episode yesterday. It's only about 30-40 minutes long if you wouldn't mind checking it out and giving us some feedback. But with all that being said, thanks again, guys. You have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and send you over to, I believe, Krimrick. But you guys have a great night, and I will see you next time. Peace out. What? Wrong person. Did it actually send or no? Oh, there's no R. Ah, cancel. Nope. Nope. Good call. Hey, I just wanted an excuse to chill with you guys for another 15 seconds. If typos have not been the theme of tonight's stream, I don't know what it is. Crymic. Alright. I think we actually got it this time. So, now I'm sending you guys to the right place. Y'all have a great night.